Okay, so First Love is the new film by Takashi Miike. And now that everyone's portals have been opened up to the wonder of international cinema, okay? So First Love, you remember Takashi Miike made Audition and Ichi the Killer, wow, and The Happiness of the Katakuris. And
I must have
13
missed
Assassins.
these.
No, I've talked about him quite a lot, okay? So he's an extraordinary filmmaker. I think this is his 103rd feature.
Heavens.
He's 60 years old and he ain't slowing up. So this is kind of fairly typical fare in that it's a film. Firstly, it's Valentine's Day. It's called First Love. Okay, it's at heart a romance. It opens with a decapitated head rolling into frame with the eyes and mouth still moving.
Love you.
The rest, exactly. Is it raining? I hadn't noticed because my head's been decapitated. And then the rest of it is this kind of weird mix of shock, comedy, thrills, suspense, and cartoonish satire. And when I say cartoonish satire, I mean to the point that at one point it actually turns into a cartoon, just for one sequence, and then comes back out of it. There's a young boxer, Leo. He's knocked out in a fight. He discovers that he has an inoperable brain tumour. But weirdly, the spectre of death is bizarrely freeing because it makes him not fear death. And then when he sees a woman in a state of distress, he leaps in to defend her, and suddenly he finds himself in the middle of this incredibly sort of labyrinthine plot involving corrupt policemen and Yakuza gangsters and abusive fathers and horrifying visions and all this other stuff going on, just simply because he's sort of been motivated by discovering that he's no longer afeared of life because he's been told that his own life, is not infinite. And the best way of describing any Takashi Miike film, and we were saying this about Parasite and Bong Joon-ho, that one of the things that Bong Joon-ho does is to, it's to cross generic boundaries. So when you're watching Parasite, it can shift even in a scene, even sometimes in a sentence from one genre of movie to the other. Takashi Miike, although Audition is an incredibly well-balanced film, and it's based on a novel which I haven't read, but everyone tells me is really, really interesting novel. But it's like being hit over the head by exploitation cinema turned up to 12 with all the loudness controls on the volume full on. And you make a choice, which is that you either go with, well, I do, because I find this a kind of adrenaline rush with Takashi Miike. Occasionally he'll lose me. Happiness of the Katakuris is, I'm going to lend you a DVD of Happiness of the Katakuris, because that is a film that is going to scramble your head irreparably. In the case of this, it's like, there's the philosophy of it, which kind of reminded me of the philosophy of, the ecstasy of Wilko Johnson. There's the Rocky-style boxing thing about how a boxer has to discover him in the ring. There's all the drug stuff and the Yakuza stuff and the corrupt cop stuff that from other thrillers. And then there's the weird animation bit. And then at the centre of it, it's a film called First Love.
Oh.
And it's a small release, but if you're looking for something different to see as a Valentine's date, let me recommend this one, because it's not like any other film that's out this week. It's not Emma.